Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 11 here on the new and improved BallySpring with me, Farmer Murphy. Yes, we went and did it. We updated the map. Before I did that, I went and loaded it up on PC because obviously when you update on console, there's no going back. So I looked at the changes on PC, and I actually did get caught out on one thing, which I'll explain when we get to it. And then I looked at our map where we were at. And because we had just gotten our equipment last month in August, all our fields had been worked in either August or September. So that made it a little easier to update. And I'll talk a bit about that some more when we look at the PDA. So anyways, I decided to pull the trigger. For various reasons. There were lots of new things that were going to add to the challenge and make it more challenging. I had also heard kind of through the grapevine that if you didn't update on console, it was causing some problems with some players anyways. So based on where we were at and the significant changes and the enhancements it would make to the challenge, I went ahead and did the update. So first off, let's remind you what the old PDA looked like. One thing I forgot to mention in the previous segment that I meant to was when we left the old map, we were at 188 hours, and it took me 15 hours to set up the new map. I'm actually recording this 1 week exactly before Christmas, so you know what I spent my weekend doing. So here's the new PDA, and you can see it's pretty significantly different, particularly on the west, the north, and the east edges of the map. There are a number of new fields. That was going to actually be an advantage for us in the challenge. In the south, I don't think the changes were as great from what I recall, but there were some changes down there as well. You can see we've got all our farmland highlighted, and it is a bit different. We still own all the verges, which is all the roads. That was still nothing, so we own that, as we did on the previous version. Now you can see the farm has changed a little bit. That's because of the fields that came with the base farms. Now, we did buy the pig farm down here, and there were no changes here on the pig farm. As I mentioned, because we either worked our fields in August or September, it was pretty easy for me to get the fields back in exactly the same condition they were in when I left. As luck would have it, I was just finished all that work in September. So the pig farm here, these fields, 102, 104, 105, 101, 103, they came with the pig farm. There was no change there. I have combined, as I had done before, 102 and 104 and 101 and 103, those grass fields. This one here, 101, 103, was just a fence that ran between. I will admit there was a hedge here on 102, 104 that I did take out, and I combined those fields. Here on the base farm, if I recall, we got field 192, 193, 187, 191, and 190. Now I did combine 187 and 192. Again, there was a hedge. It ran right across there, and I took that out just to make ease of work. No changes to 190 or 191 or 189. Now, we did own this piece in here, 181, and with it came this forest area. And on the previous version, that forest area extended up here into 162 and 163. Those trees are now gone. Kind of unfortunate, I had a plan for them. And we lost some of that land to field 163. But we did gain some in field 162. So neither here nor there. Now, we did own on the previous version 163. That's the field I bought, as you may recall, that I didn't get the grass out of. But when you bought the sheep farm, you got field 182 with it now. So I gave up field 163. Then we did have 167, which I combined with this little I don't know if you, I guess you call it a meadow up here that I had, same thing I had done last time I had showed you, and 166. But we lost field before we had field 152 that had the crop in it. I can't remember if that was wheat or barley, don't recall. And this grass field 165, but we gained 159 and 158. So we gained a little land mass there for sure. So that covers the land, I think. And now I did on some of the fields, I did open up the approaches because when I was doing the field work, I didn't want to use the, you know, medium small equipment that we had. I wanted to use the medium large. So like in this field here, I took out the gate and I took out one hedge. And I did that pretty much on all our field entrances. I did the same thing I had done previously here and took out this fence along here and these gates. So we don't have any gates into our fields, or very few anymore. And some entrances I did close off. I actually added in hedges and closed them off where we had more than one entrance and we didn't need it. But I am going to leave these openings. It is so much more convenient, although I didn't increase any of our equipment size. I left everything the same, but it just does make it a little easier. Now, the gates along the main road, I tried to leave in where I could. So, you know, I didn't take every single gate out, but I took like these ones, inner farm gates out and opened up our approaches. Now, you'll notice here's our bale storage. No bales. That is a couple reasons. I've had trouble with the base game bales when I put them in these storage falling through the floor and that sort of thing. So I calculated how many liters of silage we have, and I have stored it in another location I'll show you. And so that's why there's no bales in here. We were just 10 bales shy of filling this up. So that's kind of where I was at when I left. I was going to work on filling this up with bales and you know, stacking a few up to feed the cows and the BJ until winter came. Now I did upsize this from the 350 bale storage to the 800. When I did it, it's only a $500 difference. I had been thinking I needed to do that anyway, so I just went ahead and did it. So we did gain a little bit there. You'll notice this harvester and that is gone. I found out I could sell that and get it out of my way, that garbage, and it took this bucket with it that was sitting here, as you may recall. So that went with it. And I had done that in my previous September. I wasn't an update thing. We did gain a fuel station down here. That is why I removed some more of this fence. And other than the cows, that was the only changes down here. But you'll notice that we now have brown cows as well. As they're Friesian. I'm not sure if I'm just not it's not a breed I'm familiar with at all, but it kind of looks like we got some Holsteins and some these brown and white things. One thing you'll notice, manure does land in the pen, so we have to clean that up. That is going to lead me to want to leave the telehandler here, so we're going to need to get a tractor to replace that because I got to clean that up every day. It fills up every day. Another thing is with our cows, our entire herd is in here, as it turns out. And our herd in general is a little bit younger. What I did is I looked at what we had, where they were at in gestation and puberty. And for gestation, our cows were either at 20 or 30%, which mean our calves were 2 to 3 months old. And of course, all the calves I bought were 0 months. And our cows now, the maximum gestation we have is 10. So we lost a month or two on our cows. Our heifers, as far as puberty went, some were a little further along and some were a little further behind than what you could buy. So that averaged it out not too bad. But in general terms, our herd is a little bit younger, about a month or two behind where we were. Not to worry, have a plan for that. Okay, this is a lease tractor, one of the tractors I was using to prep the fields with. I just left it in here to run around the map and look at things because it's much faster. So we have all the same equipment. The only thing I did do is I was using these trailers at unreal capacities to get everything prepped. So I just left them in here. So our two trailers are now unreal. I figure at some point in the future we will probably take advantage of that. Oh, one other thing is our slurry pit here has been enlarged. It holds more slurry. I did exactly repeat all of the products that we had, like slurry, manure, straw, all the crops are exactly what we had when we left. So one other thing I want to show you here at the cow farm is, let's run out here and look at our cow pasture. As you can see, as I went by, whoops, sorry about those darn trees. I went by, you could see the gates there, and it hasn't changed the feel at all of the map having opened those up. You can see no cow pasture. It's gone. Because they added extra farms on the map and you're limited by the number of pens you can have, they took the cow pasture out here. So now this is just a grass field. It was a meadow. I actually turned it into a proper grass field. So that's why all our cows are in the pen. Another thing I noticed is they are definitely using more straw. When I put the straw in there in August, I can't remember exactly how much I had in there when I filled it, but I don't think it was much over 80,000. There was 77,000 liters in there when I quit. I put 70,000 liters or 77,000 liters in there in August, and it was empty September 4th. It used it all. My gut feeling is they're eating more feed as well, but that may be because I was feeding in two different locations, but certainly seems like they're using more straw. But how I created these fields, one thing I will show you here, if we go into construction mode and look at landscaping, and under plants, they have these different textures that you can paint down. And I use this texture right here, field create texture, which gave the appropriate texture under the grass when I mulched it, because you can see I had mulched this one here. And then I painted on the BallySpring modded grass, which is what's in all of the fields that the game puts in, or that's on the map. So that's how I created these fields. So I could paint them down pretty quickly, and then I just had to mulch them appropriately. All right, that I think is everything down here at the cow farm. So let's run up to the sheep farm and I will meet you up there. Here's another example of a field approach where I took out the gate and some hedge, and you can see I put a bush in there just to kind of close it up. So I don't think it detracts from the feel of the map, but it just gives a little bit more space to get in and out with the equipment. Even the equipment we have, it's easier. Like I said, I didn't upgrade any of the equipment because I increased the openings. And the same thing here. You'd seen this before. I did the same thing. I just opened this up a little bit to make it easier to move around here. So here's that field I showed you last time that we put together. I did take the opportunity to fix up this, this splotchy area that I had. So I fixed that while I was correcting everything else. Some more of our equipment sitting around. One of the big changes up here was this. There is now a bale storage as part of the base game, 500 bales. As you recall, I had snuck 150 bale storage in this shed here. Now this shed can just be used for equipment storage. We're not able to, well, we actually can delete the shed, but the cement walls stay, so we might as well just leave it there and use it for equipment storage. Our two new fields are here. Here's our crop field. Like I said, it's a bit larger, and our larger grass field, and that we gained, but we lost the two down the trail. Here, I'll show you in a minute. Here is one of the pieces of equipment, or well, really the only piece of equipment that I upgraded during September, or so far anyways. This came up used in the previous version, so I traded our harvester, our header, and our header trailer for the harvester. I had no header or anything to go with it, but it was pretty much a trade. I think it only cost me an extra $2,000. It only had 13 hours on it when we got it. Of course, there's no hours on it now because it's brand new, but nothing we can do about that on console. Some more of our equipment tucked away in there, and our fields that we had down this road then we no longer own, except for this little one in behind our shed here is still ours, this little grass field. And that was it for up here. The sheep, we just have the same number of sheep. There's no concerns with them, although the herd is a little bit younger, again, like the cows. We're ahead of the curve as far as having the number of sheep required, so no worries there about those. Oh, another interesting thing, when I was reading the mods, like you are supposed to be able to wash your vehicles. I never tried it on PC, but you definitely can't on console. So I built our little workshop in here again, and put our washing station down here like it was before. I even added a few more decorative items in there while I was at it to give it kind of a lived-in look. Oh, and one other change too, these are no longer fuel buy points, but they are, you can fill them up as well, and like a standard diesel tank. Okay, I think that is everything up here, so let's run down to the pig farm and I'll see you there. Okay, so here we are down at the pig farm. Here's the two of the grass fields that I combined into one are right here, and I opened up this approach, obviously. This is probably the farm where I made the most changes, I would think, as far as approaches in that. And I had done some of it in the previous save. I did a little bit more this save just to get a little bigger equipment in here. Now, the elephant in the room are these two guys here. I meant to take this buy anything silo out before I started the record. I got down here and realized it was here, so I just left it because it's was in the mode, or in the zone, so to speak. So I'll take that out and take the money back out. But this is the silo I put in right first thing I did, because it has a reasonably small footprint, and it also holds liquids as well as solids. So all our bales, hay bales, straw bales, and silage bales were converted to loose material and are sitting in here. Now, as it turns out, I didn't think I have slurry to start with, or I would have an issue with the milk and some of the liquids, so that's why I put this in. As it turned out, I didn't have to do that. The cows made enough milk and enough slurry, so I didn't have to have any storage. So I could have got away with just using the multi-fruit silos that are on here now, but like I said, there's almost 3 million liters of products in there, and I wasn't going to trailer them out. Once it gets down a ways, I may do that. But for now, once everything's used out of there, which I'm going to do as quickly as possible, I'm going to delete it, and again, whatever money we get, I'll take out. When we bought the farm, this field had canola in it. It has canola in it again, and it had just been planted, so that's back the way it was, but there was no change to this field. Interestingly enough, on PC, there's another, I think it's another pig pen that's sitting right here, because even on console, there's a manure heap sitting here. So I just deleted that to get it out of the road. Now here, I did open this up to make this silo a drive-through. So we finally have a drive-through silo. There was a hedge running along here. And even with our tractors, it was just so tight to try and get out of here. So I just took this hedge out so we can swing into our grass field if we want. And then this is the other grass field. You know, there was two fields here combined to one. This is the one that was joined by a fence in the middle. Or sorry, not joined by, separated by a fence. And then there was kind of a walled little yard here. And I don't know what the purpose was. It was sitting here on PC as well. And it was just kind of plunked here. And it didn't really like fit. I don't know if it was supposed to simulate an old building foundation maybe. I'm not sure. But I decided to take it out and just make this all field. And of course, our pigs are over here. I didn't take out any buildings or anything like that here, just opened the hedgeways up in that. And this is where our 500 pigs will go, and we'll actually be putting pigs in here next month. Now, if we take a quick look at the PDA again, I ended up buying this field 185. It was conjoined with the verges to our farm because it happened to have corn in it. I didn't notice it, so I did take the corn out of there. We got 20,000, just under 20,000 liters. I did have to lease a corn header though to do that. The reason I leased, well, I didn't have enough money to buy it, and I also wanted to try it because I wasn't sure if it was going to work with a harvester. So at some point we will buy that header, and I'll show it to you. Now, as I mentioned, we only have now the pen that holds 500 cows. So I actually should have left the PDA up. As I don't know if I mentioned it, I had it in my mind as an option to buy this farm right here. And it has the capacity for another 500 cows. And so that was going to take us to 1,500. Well, for the challenge, that is no longer an option. I need to buy that now to get back to my 1,000 cows. So I've got to earn that, what, $246,000 to buy that farm. So that's no longer optional. Our optional farm buy, and I really like to do, is this one up here. It has room for additional 500 cows as well, and it has a different cow shed in there. So it's actually the farm you see when that they use for the pictorial on the map, I guess, when you load it up. So I want to buy that. This is our optional farm buy. And what? Whew, jeez, I never even looked at the price of it before. 500 grand. Yeehaw. So yeah, so that's what we're aiming for now. But this farm right across the way, no longer optional. To complete the challenge, we do need to own that. All right, we're just about done. I think the last area we need to go and look at is the BGA. So I will see you there. Now we're just coming up to the BGA, and here's one obvious big change. They made a large, I think they call it a contracting yard here, out of part of the property that was adjacent to the BGA. So this area has changed a little bit. They've moved things around, as you can see. So our fertilizer production is over here. The fertilizer we had in here is obviously in our silo because I couldn't put it back in here. But it's here and ready to go. Now all of the productions I filled on the old, well, yes, I filled on the old map. So they were totally full. And if we take a look at our productions here now, you can see they are all right full. So that's accounted for in the product, if you like. So whatever, then I took, after I filled them all up, I took the numbers of what we had left, and that's what's in our silo. So they're all full. As it turned out, we got really lucky actually, because at our dairy, we only lost about 200 liters of product. Like I just took all the pallets that we had in production, and they're sitting back up there. I bought those in. But we only had, everything was at 200 liters or less as far as in storage for butter, cheese, and chocolate. So we didn't lose very much there at all. So that was pretty good. We didn't lose anything, obviously, on our fertilizer because it uses all the digestate as soon as it comes in. And the same with our biogas plant, was distributed. Oh, I should put that on there now while I'm here and think about it. It was distributed over there. Now, one of the things I was hoping that would change with the new update, and it did, but still is a little strange. We had to put our sell anything in here again because the sell points now take fertilizer, and it gives us, if we go up here and have a look, where is fertilizer? It says it's $0. It gives us a historical price, and they do take it. It does take it, but for $0. So I had to put the sell anything back in here. I really don't like it down here too much. What I'm hoping to do when I buy the spinnery is to eventually buy that land that it's sitting on, and we will move it up there at that time. This is where I'd like to put it because there's a bit of a production area up there. Yeah, I think that's it. Now there are some new farms that are added. I'm just going to show you those. It's not intended to be a map tour. As we do the course of the challenge, I'll bring you by those and we can take a look at them. So it wasn't my intention to show all of that, just the changes to the stuff that we owned. I guess the last, oh, you know what? One thing I forgot to mention when last episode or the episode before when I put this in, is actually our fertilizer production. I don't consider that too cheaty because by the time you take into account the loss in the BGA and then the loss in this production, it takes 10 liters of slurry to make 1 liter of solid fertilizer. So it's a 10-to-1 ratio by the time it works through the process. So to me, to my mind, that doesn't seem, takes some of the cheatiness out of that process. Oh, speaking of cheaty, I did upgrade the quick bale. My favorite baler, and Mark Thor did an update on it. And unfortunately, every time he's done an update, he's made it more cheaty. And I wish he gave an option that you just, you could go to the mild cheaty version. Because it's almost getting a little too cheaty for my liking. Because now the bale sizes go up to 50,000 bales, 50,000 liters. You can do 10,000 liters, 25,000 liters, or 50,000. I think we'll do some 25,000 liter bales on our stuff. Probably on contracts we'll do 10, so we don't have to, end up selling more than we need to when you're completing a contract. But that is on the map, and so that's going to affect. It's going to help our bale count, basically, along with the extra storage. We should have no issue now. So I wanted to mention that. And the last thing that I'll mention, I think, and then we'll wrap this up, is regarding the challenge. If we look at our crop calendar, I put in the multi-fruit one. So now we have a bunch of new crops we have to do at least once. Rye, millet, alfalfa, onion, hops, clover, mustard, peas, linseed, field bean. So that adds another dimension to this challenge because according to the challenge, we have to do those crops at least once. So not only do we have the grass, which was always an issue, but now we need to go and do at least those crops one time each. So it really amps up the arable side as well, which is something I liked. If it wasn't challenging enough, it's super challenging now. At least we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can make it all happen. All right, guys. Sorry about that. It's probably not the most exciting episode, but that brings you up to speed on where we are with the update. So what I'm going to do going forward, one advantage is, of course, it reset all the contracts. So we have a bunch of grass work to do. And seeing as I now have $700,000 worth of farms to buy, I'll probably spend some more of September taking advantage of those extra silage contracts. Although I still had, I had 3 large ones I was getting all set to do, like in the $8,000 range. But I'm going to go and hit some of those, get our money up a little bit more. Can't remember if I mentioned it, so I'll repeat it just so it doesn't get missed. I am going to continue for now with the little spreadsheet, but what I'll do is I'll put all the numbers from where we left the last map, and I'll lock that in column 1, and then we'll just carry forward with the new numbers off of this map for a while anyways. And if you have any opinion on whether you like that concept, if you want me to carry on, or if you don't care and I can just drop it, just put it in the comments, and I'll take it under advisement. But for this episode, I think we'll call it a wrap there. And there will still be a standard episode at the end of September, beginning of October, where we will finalize what went on this month. But the update part should be a little bit shorter, because I don't think there'll be a whole lot more to add unless I get some good deals in the used store or something. So anyways, if you're still with me, really appreciate you watching. If you found it entertaining, informative in any way, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode, here on the new and improved BallySpring, Farmer Murphy signing off.